Good morning, Year 3. The last day of term has finally arrived, and welcome to our last English lesson. Thank you very much for being able to sustain, maintain, and endure this long period of time of doing online learning. We will be eternally grateful to you. So let's start our quiz, and today it is only a quiz. So today the ally is to complete an English lesson. So our normal routine is be ready, be prepared. Use the pause button if you need to. So we're going to start with narratives to begin with. Fireworks to kick it off. So what is a setting? Is it number one, the events that happen in a story? Or number two, the point of view from which a story is told? Number three, the main character, or number four, the time and place of the story. When writing a story, how should you tell the reader that a character is bossy? Is it number one, use bossy as an adjective for the character? Or number two, use a stage direction? Number three, add an aside to the reader. The others think Alex is bossy. And number four, include a scene or two where the character is behaving in a bossy manner. Let's move to the next one. Watch out, Harry shouted. Watch out for what? Rachel cried. So what do we need to do with this? Well, first of all, you can select Rachel's dialogue shouldn't have a question mark. Is that correct? Number two, Rachel's dialogue should begin on a new line. Or number three, Rachel's dialogue should come first. Or number four, Harry's dialogue shouldn't have an exclamation mark. All of the following are elements of narrative writing except number one, setting. Number two, problem and solution. Number three, has a beginning, middle and end. Or number four, teaches the reader something new. Tripping over my words. Conversations carried on between characters in a piece of writing is called number one, speaking. Number two, conflict. Number three, dialogue. Number four, rising action. What is a narrative? Is it number one, a story? Number two, poetry? Number three, a biography? Or number four, a research project? Right, let's mark. What is a setting? It's number four, the time and place of the story. When writing the story, how should you tell the reader that a character is bossy? Number four would be the best choice here. So include a scene or two where the character is behaving in a bossy manner. Sometimes it's better for the reader to pick up on what a character is like rather than being told by the writer or author. Number three, you need to select number two. Rachel's dialogue should begin on a new line. Remember, new line or new speaker, new line. All of the following are elements of narrative writing except number four, teaches the reader something new. Number five, isn't it? Conversations carried on between characters in a piece of writing is called number three, dialogue. And the last one, what is a narrative? It's number one, a story. How did you do? Are you happy with your result so far? Right, we have characters. Who is this character? Is it number one, Dory? Number two, Marlin? Number three, Nemo? Or number four, Coral? Who is this character? Pumbaa, Simba, Timon, or Zazu? Who is this character? Is it Lilo, Moana, Pocahontas, or Tiana? Who is this character? Yasmin or Jasmine, Tiana, Merida, or Ariel? And last of all, who is this lady? Who is the character? Is it Pocahontas, Tiana, Mulan, or Mushu? Let's mark. Number 1, the character, the fish, the clownfish, is Dory. Number 2, the character below is Timon. Do you know which animation that's from? The Lion King. Next one, the character here, is it Lilo, Moana, Pocahontas, or Tiana? It's Moana. Number 4, it's Jasmine or Yasmin. And finally, the character here is number 3, Mulan. And Mulan 2 is about to come out at some point. Let's move on. How are you doing? Were you good at spotting those characters from different animations? Let's continue with the character theme. Who is this character? Is it number 1, Peter Pan, number 2, Harry Potter, or number 3, Bilbo Baggins? Who is this character? Is it number 1, Peter Rabbit, number 2, Madeline, or number 3, Max? Who is this character? Is it Cat in the Hat, number 1, Puss in Boots, number 2, Corduroy, number 3? Some of you should be able to remember these from the past. And who is this animal character? Is it number 1, Wilbur, number 2, Peter Rabbit, or number 3, Ramona Quimby? And finally, who is this character? The Grinch, the Cat in the Hat, or the Lorax? Let's mark. Did you remember any of these characters? So number 1, it is Harry Potter. Number 2 is Max, which is number 3. Number 3, it's number 1, Cat in the Hat. And the next character is Wilbur, number 1. And the final character is the Grinch, number 1. How are you doing? Are you happy with how you have done so far? So let's continue with the theme of characters, and in this case you need to name the book. So Captain Hook and Peter are characters from which book? Is it number 1, Winnie the Pooh, number 2, Peter Pan, number 3, The Faraway Tree, or number 4, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe? Arthur, or his nickname, Wart, and Merlin are characters from which book or animation? The Sword and the Stone, number 2, Journey to the Center of the Earth, number 3, The Secret Garden, number 4, The Hobbit. Dorothy and Toto are characters from which book? Number 1, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, number 2, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, number 3, Through the Looking Glass, or number 4, The Secret Garden. Don't forget, use the pause button if you need to. Jim Hawkins and Long John Silver are characters from which book? And film as well, because films have been made with these characters in also. Right, so number 1, The Tale of Peter Rabbit, number 2, Treasure Island, number 3, Wind in the Willows, and number 4, The Railway Children. Peter, Susan, Edmund, and Lucy are characters from which book? The Tiger Who Came to Tea, or number 2, The Lord of the Rings, Number 3, The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. Or number 4, the BFG. Frodo Baggins is a character from which book? Is it number 1, A Wrinkle in Time? Number 2, The Cat in the Hat? Number 3, The Lord of the Rings? Or number 4, Swallows and Amazons? And the last one, Dorothy and Toto. We've already had that one, so we won't be doing that one again. Let's mark the work now. So Captain Hook and Peter are characters from number 2, Peter Pan. Arthur and Merlin are characters from the animation, the book, The Sword in the Stone. Dorothy and Toto are characters from number 2, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. Next, Jim Hawkins and Long John Silver are characters from Treasure Island, number 2. Peter, Susan, Edmund and Lucy are characters from number 3, The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. Frodo Baggins is a character from number 3, The Lord of the Rings. And we don't need to do Toto and Dorothy again. How are you doing? Remember, this is just really a fun quiz. Keep persisting, continue, don't be disheartened if you're not doing so well, but fantastic if you are scoring very well here. Okay, we have a character called Marlin. Which animation does Marlin appear in? Is it number 1, Tars, number 2, Finding Nemo, number 3, Tarzan, or number 4, Up? Buzz Lightyear is a character from which animation? Number 1, Toy Story, number 2, The Aristocats, number 3, Finding Nemo, or number 4, Sleeping Beauty? Simba is a character from which animation? Is it number 1, The Lion King, number 2, Tangled, number 3, Pocahontas, or number 4, The Jungle Book? Elastigirl is a character from? Is it Toy Story number 1, number 2, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, number 3, The Incredibles, or number 4, Beauty and the Beast? Princess Yasmin is a character from, is it number 1, Robin Hood, 2, Finding Nemo, 3, The Aristocats, or 4, Aladdin? Tinkerbell is a character from number 1, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, number 2, Peter Pan, number 3, A Bug's Life, or number 4, Brother Bear? Are you ready to mark? I'll count to 3 in my head and then we will start. Marlin is a character from number 2, Finding Nemo. Buzz Lightyear is a character from number 1, Toy Story. Simba is a character from number 1, The Lion King. Elastigirl is a character from number 3, The Incredibles. Princess Yasmin is a character from number 4, Aladdin. Tinkerbell is a character from number 2, Peter Pan. And this is our last slide, and it's based on, you can see it, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So let's see how much you can recall from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Number 1, who finds the last golden ticket? How many golden tickets are waiting to be found in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? Which child do the squirrels judge to be a bad nut? You can choose 1, 2 or 3. So you've got Veruca Salt, Mike TV, or Violet Beauregard. Who are Slugworth, Prodnose and Fickle Grubber? Is it number 1, rival chocolate makers? Number 2, chief Oompa Loompas, or number 3, journalists? What happens to Augustus Gloop? Is it number 1, he's kidnapped by Oompa Loompas? Number 2, he falls into the chocolate river? Or number 3, he shrinks to a few inches tall? Getting close to the end now. How many people live in Charlie's house? How many people live in Charlie's house? Is it 2, 5, or 7? And the very last question, what is a Whangdoodle? Is it number 1, a Willy Wonka gobstopper? Number 2, an alien? Or number 3, a creature from Loompaland? That's probably the toughest one of all. Okay, let's mark. Who finds the last golden ticket? It's number 2, Charlie Bucket. How many golden tickets are waiting to be found in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? It's number 2, 5. Can you remember all the characters, all the children who won golden tickets? Can you remember them all? Which child do the squirrels judge to be a bad nut? Is it number 1, Veruca Salt, number 2, My TV, or number 3, Violet Beauregard? It is number 1, Veruca Salt. Who are Slugworth, Prodnose, and Fickle Grubber? It's number 1, rival chocolate makers. Remember, they sent spies into the factory. What happens to Augustus Gloop? Well, a few things happened to him, but the first thing that did happen to him was number 2. He falls into the chocolate river. Or did he deliberately fall into the chocolate river? How many people live in Charlie's house? Well, there are 2 sets of grandparents, his mum and dad, and Charlie. And that makes number 3, 7. And last of all, what is a Whangdoodle? It is number 3, a creature from Loompaland. I think they were very afraid of the Whangdoodle, weren't they? Most definitely. Wow, that's our session done with. We are complete, and all I can say to you is thank you very much for participating in online learning with all things related to English, all the foundation, all the humanities, the art, the DT, and so on. I'm eternally grateful to you, and not only to you, but to your parents. So thank you for your commitment, and thank you for the effort, and at times maximum effort, plus even more in being able to keep going. It's been a less than easy journey. So thank you very much to you for maintaining and sustaining doing online learning, and many thanks to your parents for supporting you and giving you the encouragement, and also creating the routines that are needed for you to be able to keep going for this long period of time. So thank you very much. I hope you have a wonderful summer, an enjoyable summer, a relaxing summer, a safe and healthy summer. So take care, look after yourselves, and enjoy the rest of the summer period. And I look forward to seeing you all in September. So goodbye for now, and take care. Be safe.